Okay, so today we're diving into a case that honestly is one of the most disturbing I've come across. It's the case of Luca Magnotta and the murder of Jun Lin.
It's definitely a case that, yeah, sticks with you. There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got a ton of material to work with, news reports, legal documents, background articles, the whole works. And our mission here is to kind of distill all of that, right? Like get to the heart of what happened, why it happened, and what it all means.
Right, exactly. Without getting too bogged down,
Yeah.
we want to give people a solid understanding, the key events, the motivations, the impact, but we're not going to like dwell on the really graphic stuff.
No, we're not going to sensationalize anything. But that being said, this is a tough one to talk about. I mean, it's brutal. So let's start by looking at Luca Magnotta, who, was born Eric Newman. His background is, well, it's pretty rough.
Right from the start, you see some red flags.
Yeah, I mean, his dad had schizophrenia, and his mom, she was like super germophobic. And then Magnotta himself, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2002.
That diagnosis is going to be a key point later on, right?
So, absolutely. And, he dropped out of high school, and it seems like he was just desperate for fame. He tried all sorts of things: modeling, acting, escort work, stripping, even porn.
Anything for attention, it seems like.
Exactly. That desire for notoriety, for fame. I mean, it's a huge theme here. And it makes you wonder, right? Like, what was it about being seen, being known, that he craved so much?
Well, yeah. And why did it have to manifest in such a horrific way?
Right. It's like he wanted to leave a mark, but it had to be a scar. Okay, so this desire for attention kind of first manifests online in a really messed up way.
You're talking about the cat videos.
Yeah, around 2010, Magnotta starts posting these videos of him abusing and killing kittens.
Just awful. And I think, it's important to mention, even before this, he had a conviction for fraud in 2004 and was accused of sexual assault in 2005.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it went that far back. So there's definitely a pattern of concerning behavior here long before the murder.
Definitely. And these cat videos, they sparked massive outrage online. I mean, people were horrified.
As they should be. It's pure cruelty. And that's when you start to see these online sleuth groups forming, right? These groups dedicated to identifying him and, like, bringing him to justice.
It's interesting, right? Like, this is kind of the early days of internet vigilantism.
Yeah. And, these groups actually play a pretty important role in this whole story.
Absolutely. They were the ones who really dug into his past, found all these connections, and, eventually helped to identify him.
So while all this is going on with Magnotta, you have Jun Lin, the victim. He was a 33-year-old computer science student from China, moved to Canada in 2010 to study at Concordia University in Montreal.
He seems like he was a good guy, just trying to make a life for himself.
Yeah, from what we've read, he was kind of a lonely guy looking for connection. And he was gay, but he was also facing pressure from his family back in China to marry a woman. It's actually kind of tragic. He had recently broken up with his partner in Canada because of that pressure.
It's a reminder that, like this case, it's not just about the killer, right? There's a real victim here, a person with their own hopes and dreams.
Exactly. So you have these two very different individuals, right? Jun Lin, just trying to build a life, find love. And Magnotta, this troubled individual, craving attention and seemingly on a path towards something dark and dangerous.
It's almost like a collision course.
Right. And that collision happened in May 2012. Okay, so Magnotta posts an ad on Craigslist looking for someone for sex and bondage. Jun Lin responds, and they agree to meet on May 24th.
And there's security footage of them entering Magnotta's apartment building that night, right?
Yeah, and that night, Jun Lin sends a text message to his ex-boyfriend in China. Just a simple good morning message, for when his ex wakes up. It's a chilling because it's like his last communication.
Wow. That detail really hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just a normal, everyday text, and then...
Yeah, and then the next day, May 25th, Magnotta posts that infamous video online, the one titled, "One Lunatic, One Ice Pick."
God, even the title is just...
Yeah.
It's meant to shock.
Right, purely for attention. Now, initially, people thought the video showed the actual murder, but it was later determined that Jun Lin was already dead. His throat was slit.
Oh, so it was staged to some extent.
Yeah, but it's still horrific. It shows him stabbing Jun Lin repeatedly, but it wasn't an ice pick, actually. It was a screwdriver that he had painted silver to look like an ice pick.
Jeez, like he was trying to recreate something he'd seen in a movie or something.
It's so disturbing, and
Yeah.
There's necrophilia, dismemberment, even suggestions of cannibalism. There's even a dog in the video, and then just hours after posting this, Magnotta books a flight to Paris.
So he's immediately trying to get away with it.
Yeah, no remorse, no hesitation, just get out of there. And what's crazy is that people who saw the video online, they tried to report it to the police, but
He didn't believe it.
a lot of them just dismissed it. They thought it was fake,
Yeah.
like some kind of sick joke.
Oh, man. And meanwhile, Magnotta's already on the run.
Yeah, and then a few days later, on May 29th, the reality of what happened really starts to hit. A janitor in Montreal finds a suitcase outside Magnotta's apartment building, and inside is Jun Lin's torso.
Oh, my God. So it wasn't fake after all.
No. And that same day, a package arrives at the Conservative Party office in Ottawa. It's a human foot, soaked in blood. And then another package, this one with a hand addressed to the Liberal Party, is intercepted at a postal sorting office.
He was mailing body parts.
Yeah. And it gets even worse. Packages containing a foot and a hand were also mailed to elementary schools in Vancouver.
Oh, man. This guy, he was just trying to terrorize everyone, wasn't he?
It seems like it. And some of the packages had these notes with them, like one that said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. The police will need dental records to identify you, bitch." I mean, just chilling.
Totally calculated to create fear and panic.
Exactly. So now, of course, everyone's freaking out. The police realize the video is real, and they launch this massive international manhunt for Magnotta.
Where did he go?
He flew to Paris, then took a bus to Berlin. And on June 4th, they finally catch him. He's at an internet cafe in Berlin reading about himself online.
No way. Seriously?
Yeah, it's like he couldn't help himself. He needed that attention, even if it meant getting caught.
Narcissistic mood.
Totally.
Hmm.
And sadly, the body parts, they were confirmed through DNA to be Jun Lin's. His head was later found in a park in Montreal.
So they found all of him eventually.
Yeah. And in 2014, after a long and really disturbing trial, a jury finds Luca Magnotta guilty of first-degree murder and a bunch of other charges. He got life in prison, no parole for 25 years, plus another 19 years for the other stuff.
So he's basically never getting out.
Nope. And he even filed an appeal at first, but then dropped it.
So what about his motive? Like, why did he do it?
That's the big question, right? His defense argued that he wasn't criminally responsible because of his schizophrenia. They said he was in a psychotic state at the time.
But the jury didn't buy it.
No. The prosecution argued that he was just really attention-seeking, that he had antisocial, histrionic, and narcissistic personality traits. And they said that's what drove him, not some psychotic break.
It seems like they painted a picture of someone who knew exactly what they were doing.
Exactly. They said his actions were planned, deliberate, and all about getting attention, notoriety, infamy, whatever you want to call it.
And that video, it was like his big production, right?
Totally. And one of the weirdest parts of this whole thing is that Magnotta claimed he was coerced into doing all this by this guy named Manny Lopez.
Manny Lopez. Who that?
He said Manny was this former sex client who forced him to film the cat killings and then eventually the murder of Jun Lin. But the police, they never found any evidence that this guy even existed.
It sounds like you made him up.
Yeah, a lot of people think he got the idea from the movie Basic Instinct, which, by the way, the murder of Jun Lin had a lot of similarities to a scene in that movie.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, even down to the detail of painting the screwdriver silver. It's like he was trying to recreate that movie.
That's messed up.
It is. And it's not the only time Magnotta tried to create this, fake narrative around himself. He made all these fake online profiles, fan pages, spread all these rumors. He even claimed he had a relationship with Karla Homolka, the serial killer.
He just wanted to be infamous, didn't he?
It seems that way. He wanted to be known, even if it was for the worst possible reasons. And remember those online sleuths we talked about? Well, they believed that the cat videos were a sign of things to come.
Like a precursor to the murder.
Exactly. They saw it as an escalation, a way for him to get more and more attention by being more and more extreme. And they tried to warn the authorities, but, no one really took them seriously.
That's got to be frustrating.
It is. And it makes you think about how we respond to these kinds of things online, right? Like, what are the warning signs and when should we be taking action?
It's a tough question, but a really important one.
For sure. In this case, it really highlights the dark side of social media, right? I mean, the video was posted online, people shared it, and it just contributed to Magnotta's notoriety.
It's like a double-edged sword. It can help solve crimes, but it can also give these killers exactly what they want.
Absolutely. And the owner of the website where the video was posted, bestscore.com, he was actually convicted of corrupting morals.
Really?
Yeah, it's a rare charge in Canada, but he got house arrest and community service. It sparked a lot of debate about who's responsible for this kind of content online.
That's a whole other can of worms, right?
Yeah, yeah. And in all of this, it's so important to remember Jun Lin. His family, they suffered tremendously. His father gave this incredibly moving victim impact statement at the trial, talking about the pain of losing his son.
It's easy to get caught up in all the sensational details and forget about the human cost.
Right. And there's a kind of unsettling epilogue to this whole thing. Magnotta, in prison, he's reportedly living a pretty comfortable life, playing video games, taking art classes. He even got married to another convicted killer.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, and then they transferred him to a medium security prison, which caused a huge public outcry. People were outraged that he was getting, special treatment.
I mean, I can understand that reaction. It doesn't seem right.
Right, and this case, it's kind of similar to other cases, like Mark Twitchell, the Dexter killer, who used social media and was also inspired by fictional characters.
It's a scary trend, these so-called media monsters.
Yeah, they're using these platforms to broadcast their crimes and become infamous. And then there's the whole third hand theory.
Third hand.
Yeah, Magnotta's mother, she was convinced that this third hand you could see in one of the cat videos belonged to Manny, that imaginary guy he made up.
Oh, right.
But the online sleuths, they debunked that pretty quickly. They said it was probably a neighbor or something.
So just more delusion from Magnotta's side?
Pretty much. So where does that leave us? I mean,
Yeah.
this case, it's a nightmare, really. It's about the dark side of fame, the dangers of the internet, the failure to recognize warning signs, and ultimately, the tragic loss of an innocent life.
And it leaves us with a lot to think about, right? Like, how do we prevent something like this from happening again? How do we deal with the darker corners of the internet? And what responsibility do we have as individuals and as a society to be more aware, more vigilant, and more compassionate?
Yeah, those are the big questions.
Definitely. And unfortunately, there are no easy answers.
No, there aren't. But I think asking those questions, having those conversations, it's a start.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for, right? To try and make sense of these complex, difficult issues.
Exactly. And to remember the victims, always.
To remember Jun Lin.
To remember Jun Lin.
And to hope that we can learn from this tragedy and create a safer, more just world.
I think that's a good place to leave it. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And please, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues, reach out for help. There are resources available, and you don't have to go through this alone.
Absolutely. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.